Good evening, everybody. It's 6:30. It's Monday evening. It's time to start the regular meeting of the Village Board. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Trustee Ravato.
Here.
Trustee Kruger.
Present.
Trustee Lang is absent with prior notice. Trustee Vito.
Here.
Trustee Papantos.
Present.
Trustee Vogel.
Here.
President Horker.
Here. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of September 16th, 2024. I need a motion for their approval. Thank you.
So moved.
Trustee Vogel. Second?
Second.
What? Trustee Rufato? Got to look like I missed him.
Never mind.
Okay.
Bookends.
Roll call?
Trustee Kruger.
Yes.
Trustee Vito.
Yes.
Oh, September, okay. Trustee Papantos.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
Trustee Rufato.
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes, you also have before you the minutes of the joint meeting for September 18th. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved. Second.
Papantos, second. Trustee Kruger, roll call.
Trustee Vito.
Abstain.
Trustee Papantos.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
Trustee Rufato.
Abstain.
Okay. Trustee Kruger.
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes. Any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Mr. President.
Excellent. Clerk Brady, citizens' comments.
Sure. Members of the public may address the board with comments regarding issues relevant to village business. No citizen shall speak more than 5 minutes without consent of the board. Members of the general public who wish to address the board must sign the request to speak form prior to the commencement of the public meeting. First up is Anne Marie Lundstrom.
And just as a reminder, this is a time for citizens to make their comments and express their concerns and for the board to listen. Neither the board nor the staff will be answering questions. Good evening.
Hi, Anne Marie Lundstrom. I live at 2644 North Waterman in Arlington Heights, and I'm here about gas and wash. I'm just curious, did you ever get the no further remediation letter from for some reason they were working, and now all of a sudden they've stopped. For a couple of days now, they haven't worked at all, and I'm just worried why they've stopped. If you could answer that.
I believe something like that, something about that's on the agenda for later this evening.
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you.
Lori Taylor.
Hi, good evening. I'm here to talk about gas and wash. And the item on the agenda tonight, which is going to be what the Wheeling Village trustees and mayor are going to be talking about, is called a 7B tax reduction. And for all the people who reside in Community School District 21 and District 214, this tax reduction will affect you. You see, what it is, right now, from what I've been told, all commercial property is, assessed at 25% of the market value. All us homeowners are assessed at 10% of the market value. 7B will take the commercial property from 25% down to 10%. That means 15% reduction in their assessed value in tax dollars. Those property tax dollars from places like gas and wash help provide the funding for our educational schools, everything like that. So whatever money that gas and wash gets as a tax reduction, we, the citizens, have to come up and subsidize that tax reduction, because these school districts have budgets, and the budgets are static. They don't move. So anyways, what the 7B tax reduction will do is it will take, for the first 10 years of gas and wash, their taxes will go down to be the same as a single-family home or condo, whatever, 10%. On the 11th year, it will go up to being 15%. The 12th year, it goes up to 20% assessed value. And then after that, it goes up back to the 25%. So, what's interesting about this 7B eligibility is it sort of has the same criteria as a TIF. There are 13 different criterias, and it's really funny. The biggest criteria, and if you take a look at what's on the agenda tonight, it says it's to declare this area as a blighted area. How do you have blight when you have homes across the street less than 200 feet? That are $600,000 valued and $300,000 condo. But this place is blighted. It may have been blighted when it was a grocery store, but it's not blighted now, not under any description. I've talked to assessors, and they have told me that the Cook County Assessor's Office, because this has to go in front of them, even if you guys vote for it, they have to approve it. And the 13 criterias are, it must be dilapidated. Well, right now it's dirt. How does dirt get dilapidated? It needs to be deteriorating. Again, dirt doesn't deteriorate. The other ones are presence of structures below minimum code standards. There's no structures. Illegal use of individual structures. Again, no structures. Excessive vacancies, no structures. Lack of ventilation. I don't know about dirt, how it breathes. Inadequate utilities. Yeah, I agree, there's no utilities there. Excessive land coverage and overcrowding of structures and community facilities. And there's more. Oh, my favorite is lack of community planning. So, here's the fun one too. Total equalized assessed value of the proposed redevelopment project has declined 3 of the last 5 years. Yes, it has declined. The assessor's office has actually reduced it because the structures were taken down. If the structures were still up, and Gas and Wash didn't buy it 2 years ago, and that's the other ironic part. Why are we sitting there talking about this now after they bought it 2 years ago? What is going on? And as a taxpayer, and I may not live in Wheeling, but I definitely pay school taxes. Anyways, if anybody wants to read about 7B and how, the ordinance gets, I guess, passed and everything, feel free. I'll give you the website to go on, the Cook County Assessor's Office, the Wheeling Assessor's Office. They have all the descriptions there. Thank you. And I hope that you guys really reconsider this 7B, because you know what? Elections are coming up again in April too. Thank you. And I'm glad it's recorded again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Karen Dorn.
My name is Karen Doran, and I live in Arlington Heights, right near the Gas and Wash. And I guess I was appalled at this because Gas and Wash has told us many times that they're such a good neighbor, they want to be part of the community, they, value being a part of it, but yet now they're trying to not pay their share of the taxes. As Lori said, we're going to wind up paying the share of that. Again, we feel that this WT group, they should be not even asking for this. And I have a question about this one article I read in Thursday, September 26th Tribune, where it said, developer pulls the plug on luxury apartments in Carpentersville. And they had their TIF approved and everything like that, and all of a sudden WT Group / Olive Street Development pulled the plug, said their village manager, John O'Sullivan. They threw in the towel a few months ago, and we asked them what their intention. They said they were not going to proceed. So it said they ran into some issue with underground parking, which required more engineering work, and then they just abandoned the project. The company would not even give the village of Carpentersville a response to their comment, and they just decided not to proceed with it. It really makes me wonder what kind of group this WT group is, if they're the one asking for this TIF. But it's like, how can we even trust what they're doing? I still was appalled at the fact that they sent the letter to the homeowners that were nearby, not on a Village of Wheeling letterhead like we do get in Arlington Heights, even if they're gonna fix our street or something. And they didn't put it in any other language other than English, where the majority or a good number of people in Wheeling surrounding that could not even understand or read that letter because it wasn't in their native tongue. So again, I really don't know what they're trying to do and do this, but our area is not blighted. And, you know, we said many times that commercial property, because of 1960s or 70s when people had one car, then it was useful for that. It's not useful for that. I really feel that Village of Wheeling should have just given the people a park or something, but now I surely don't want them to get a tax break on this and have us pay more, because I mentioned at the one meeting that, I don't know, it was about $4,000 or $5,000 of my taxes go to the school district that the Wheeling children attend. So I'm just appalled at this, and I wish that project would not even go through. Thank you.
Gary Dorn.
Hi, my name is Gary Dorn, and I'm an Arlington Heights resident as well. The points I wanted to make is that Gas and Wash picked up this property for a song, and now they want tax breaks on top of this. Gas and Wash doesn't pay the taxes for the school. The burden will go to the local taxpayer. Schools should not be affected by this proposed development. Due to the price they paid for this development, the taxes will be relatively low in comparison to the pricing for the houses. And if this area is supposed to be considered so blighted, why do they want a 20-pump gas station in there in the first place? Thank you.
Arlen Gould.
Good evening. I am Arlen Gould. I'm actually here on a slightly different topic, and that is that last week our school board, and we appreciate, by the way, the great relations that our Board of Education has with the Village of Wheeling. Last week our board honored your own Dave Vogel and Helping Hands. Dave was not there last week, so I wanted to come here tonight into his home and thank him for all his hard work and the work of the entire Helping Hand team. They have been phenomenal to the kids of District 21, the kids of Wheeling, and all the communities surrounding. We appreciate that, Dave. The work you've done and the contact with me over the years has been terrific, and we just hope that you're able to continue this work as a group, and we continue to work with you. So thanks very much to Helping Hands and the whole team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Excellent. Staff reports? We have none. I did attend that recognition
Yep.
meeting. It was,
I didn't know I was supposed to come early to talk. Can I speak for a few minutes?
that would,
No.
I am very sorry. I really can't do that. Trustee Vogel, I did attend that recognition meeting. It was very, it was very nice to see another village board. It's the school board. Another government body recognizing, and rightly so, the work that the Helping Hands do in our community. You guys have been at this for quite a while. It's just a group of residents who are working towards helping, well, for them, it's mostly the school kids with supplies and haircuts, and it was a nice little recognition. It was a nice thing that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent agenda, Clerk Brady.
Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items. 11A, resolution affirming an agreement between the Village of Wheeling and the Metropolitan Alliance of Police Wheeling Chapter for the period May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2027. 11B, resolution approving the purchase, installation, and maintenance of Motorola Command Center Suite in the amount of $653,913.58 for the Wheeling Police Department, including body-worn cameras, evidence management, and awareness subscription service as part of the 911 Center transition to the Northwest Central Dispatch System. 11C, resolution authorizing the village manager to execute a less lethal device grant agreement with the Illinois Law Enforcement Alarm System in the amount of $15,686. 11D, resolution authorizing an acceptance of previous bid Minnesota Department of Transportation contract with Street Smart Rentals LLC for the purchase of one actuator trailer in the amount of $32,985. 11E, resolution accepting a previous bid State of Michigan contract with LaFontaine CDJR Lansing for the purchase of one 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee vehicle in the amount of $39,595. 11F, ordinance prohibiting the use of groundwater as a potable water supply by the installation or use of potable water supply wells or by any other method within a certain area in the village of Wheeling.
Any questions or comments? If we have none, I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Motion trustee Rufato, second trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Regular items.
Okay. 13A through D, okay. 13A, ordinance granting major site plan and building appearance approval to permit construction of a multifamily residential building, 268 7th Street, G&D Building LLC, docket number PSP MAJ 24-0003. 13B, ordinance granting a variation from Title 19 zoning to permit a reduction in the minimum number of required guest parking spaces, G&D Building LLC, 268 7th Street, docket number PV 24-0015. 13C, ordinance granting a variation from Title 19 zoning to permit a reduction in the minimum parking setback, G&D Building LLC, 268 7th Street, docket number PV 24-0016. 13D, ordinance granting a variation from Title 19 zoning to permit reductions in the minimum building setback, G&D Building LLC, 268 7th Street, docket number PV 24-0017.
Mr. Clicker, what do we got?
Yes, as Clerk Brady read, there's a request for an approval of a site plan and major building appearance for a six-flat at 268 7th Street. There were a few variations that were associated with it, as Clerk Brady read. The one pertaining to the number of guest parking spots, we just wanted it also to be noted that although it is a request for a reduction, there is on-street parking available on 7th Street. The other two setback variations would put this development in a very similar nature to all the other properties on this block. It will be consistent in development with everything else on the block. The Plan Commission did hear this at their October 9th meeting and recommended approval with several conditions. Those conditions were, one, a lighting plan and any other affected development plan shall be revised and submitted for staff approval as follows per the coordination, or prior to the consideration of the village board. A, all light poles shall be located on the subject property. 2, the light poles located immediately west of the proposed building shall be replaced by 2 exterior wall-mounted light fixtures. And C, more decorative light pole and fixture benefiting of the residential character of the subject building and neighborhood shall be selected. I'd like to note that obviously we're here tonight, so those issues have been addressed, and the ordinance has been, the conditions on the ordinance have been amended to reflect that. So the conditions that are on the ordinance then are 2, a site plan and appearance approval of the subject are subject to the approval of the variations included in docket numbers PV 240015, PV 240016, and PV 240017. 3, or 2, a public sidewalk shall be constructed to village standards across the front of the property that ties into the existing public sidewalk on either side of the property. Construction of the sidewalk shall be included in the permit application for site development. And 4, cost estimate covering the cost of all landscaping plant materials plus the cost of installation shall be submitted and approved by the Community Development Department. The amount, the approved amount shall be submitted in the form of a financial surety to the Community Development Department prior to the issuance of any engineering site permits or building permits. And finally, all other agency permits, including but not limited to the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago and the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, shall be obtained prior to the issuance of any engineering site permits or building permits. As I stated, the Plan Commission did recommend approval of those requests with those conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Clicker. Is the petitioner here or no?
Yes.
Come on up and say hi. Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Any questions from the board? Trustee Rufato?
I just have a question, and probably this is for Mr. Clicker. The zero lot line, the zero property line on the south side,
Yes.
why, just give me why is that necessary?
It's really to try and accommodate as much parking as possible. And as you can see by looking at the location map that's up on the screen, it is very similar in nature to all the other properties around.
Okay, all right. That was the only question I had.
Thank you, Trustee Rufato. If there are no other questions, I know we have looked at this a couple of times. We're going to take these one at a time. I'd be looking for a motion to approve item 13A, major site plan and building appearance approval.
So moved.
Trustee Vogel, second. Trustee Papantos, roll call.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes,
President Horker?
Yes. Ordinance B, variation from Title 19 to permit reduction in the minimum number of required guest parking spaces.
so moved.
Trustee Rufato, second. Trustee Vogel, roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes,
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. C, variation from Title 19, permit reduced in the minimum parking setback reduction. Motion?
So moved.
Trustee
Second.
Papantos, second. Trustee Krueger, roll call.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
yes,
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Finally, D, variation in permit reducing the minimum building setbacks. Motion?
So moved.
Trustee Vogel, second.
Second.
Trustee Papantos, roll call.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
yes,
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
13E, ordinance granting special use approval to permit the expansion of an existing adult day service facility for MedTec Healthcare and Private Duty LLC at 1400 South Wolf Road, building number 200, suites 205, 207, 209, and 219, docket number PSU 24-0020.
Mr. Clicker, what do we got?
This is an expansion of an existing adult daycare facility at the 1400 South Wolf. MedTec has been operating there for a number of years. This was heard by the Plan Commission, and they unanimously recommended approval. They did place 2 conditions on the approval, and that would be that 1, the petitioner shall submit a request to modify its business license to the Community Development Department. An updated business license shall be obtained prior to the operations beginning at the subject location. And 2, the petitioner shall adhere to the stipulations of the release, hold harmless, and indemnification agreement dated August 20th, 2021. The petitioner shall sign an updated version of the document to reflect the current unit numbers and date.
We got the indemnification?
Indemnification, yes.
We got that?
Got it.
Okay. Questions or comments from the board? Left? Right? Hold on. Unless you need to come up, but you're ahead so far, so. There seems to be no questions from the board. Be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Motion trustee Rufato, second trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
trustee Rufato,
Yes.
trustee Vogel,
Yes.
trustee Papantos.
Yes.
Trustee Vito,
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes. There you go. Good luck.
13F, ordinance designating an area as blighted and in need of renewal for the real property located at 1750, 1794, and 1798 West Hintz Road, Wheeling, Illinois. Lenny's Gas and Wash, Hintz Road and Old Buffalo Grove Road, LLC. Resolution authorizing and consenting to a Cook County Class 7B real estate tax assessment classification for the real property located at 1750, 1794, and 1798 West Hintz Road, Wheeling, Illinois. Lenny's Gas and Wash, Hintz Road, and Old Buffalo Grove Road, LLC. 11H.
No.
No?
No, that's a
Did
separate,
it say G? Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far.
we're good. Mr. Becker, you want to explain this?
Sure. President Horker, trustees, these two items are for the proposed Lenny's Gas and Wash at Hintz and Old Buffalo Grove Road. The applicant has requested a Class 7B property tax reduction. As part of that process, given that the property is not located in a TIF district, which is already designated as blighted, the county assessor requires this commercial property only, the PIN numbers just for Lenny's Gas and Wash, to be declared as blighted. There are 5 factors similar to what TIF law requires, exactly the same in this situation. So first and foremost is consideration of that, the PIN numbers to be declared blighted. And then secondarily to that is a Class 7B property tax reduction, which I might add, the property will not generate any school kids. It's a commercial project. And currently the taxes, property taxes collected on the property are about $57,000. Even with the 7B, the taxes collected will be $260,000 a year. So the applicant is here, as well as their attorney. If there are any questions, be happy to address those.
Trustee Kruger?
Yeah, I have one quick question, and it may not be for the attorneys, more for Director Becker. How many pins are associated with this parcel?
There are 2.
2. Will the petitioner be consolidating into one?
Yes, that should be at the Plan Commission on Wednesday, the final PUD.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Kruger. Trustee Papantos?
Just to clear, the NFR letter, it doesn't, Mr. Clicker may be able to answer this better.
Trustee Papantos, on the consent agenda tonight was to issue the resolution prohibiting potable water extraction from the property. So now that will be sent to IEPA, so they will be able to issue the NFR letter.
That was the final condition of the environmental study that was done.
And this is something we have done on a,
Multiple
we've done this before.
Multiple times,
For
yes.
multiple properties. And I just want to stress that even with the 7B, the total tax liability for this property will be roughly 5 times greater than what it is now.
More or less, the $60,000 I quoted included the abandoned gas station on the corner, so once that's torn down, the taxes are even going to be lower than that. And with costs, the applicant has spent a significant amount of money cleaning up this property with the demolition remediation. Without the 7B, the taxes make it prohibitive to construct.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Papantos. Left to right, trustee Vito.
Just on 7B in general, just maybe to address some of the citizens' comments. We've routinely granted these along with 6Bs, and there's never been any issue with it or any complaint about any type of tax reduction into the tax base, mainly because all of them follow the same exact pattern that Mr. Becker said. The reason we grant these is to have the property that is blighted. This was a blighted property, not the neighborhood. The neighborhood's very nice. The property was blighted. If I was going to define blighted to someone and use a picture, it would be that property where the grocery store was knocked down, every single store was abandoned in the strip mall, and the gas station was going out of business. The parking lot was basically just tore up. It was blighted. And so we use this incentive to promote the redevelopment of it. And we do it, even though it's a tax break from the normal standard level, it results in a tax increase of 5 times in this case. And every time we've done it, it's been for that matter. And so I've never voted against one of these, and I probably never will. So just to say, hopefully that clarified some things.
Thank you, trustee Vito.
I'm good.
If there are no further questions or comments, we will do these one at a time. I would be looking for a motion to approve 13G.
So moved.
First.
F first.
Oh, I got my papers mixed up. 13F. Want to
So moved.
Second.
motion, trustee Papantos, second, trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. And then G.
So moved.
Trustee Kruger,
Second.
trustee Vogel, seconds. Roll call.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Brings us to H now, Clerk Brady.
Okay. 13H, resolution authorizing the village president to execute a wind down and termination agreement for the Wheeling Displays Joint Emergency Telephone System Board and Dispatch Service Partnership.
Counselor Ferrolo, what do we got?
Thank you, President Horker. The resolution before the board authorizes the execution of a wind-down and termination agreement for the Wheeling Displays Joint Emergency Telephone System Board, as well as the Dispatch Services Partnership. As you all remember, since 2014, Wheeling has provided police dispatch services to Des Plaines through an intergovernmental agreement. That agreement goes through December 31st of 2024. Additionally, as part of Wheeling providing police dispatch, Wheeling and Des Plaines had to form what's called a Joint Emergency Telephone System Board. That JETSB is put together to administer 911 surcharges that are received from the state. Des Plaines surcharges and Wheeling surcharges go to that board. That money is used for the operation of the 911 dispatch center. As you all also know, Des Plaines intends to complete its migration to Cook County Dispatch for police dispatch no later than December 2nd of 2024. Wheeling intends to complete its migration to the Northwest Central Dispatch System for both police and fire no later than January 9th of 2025. This agreement addresses the finances involved with that and some of the technical aspects of getting the data, archived dispatch data to Des Plaines. Relative to the finances, Wheeling is owed its final payment for 2024 for dispatch services. This agreement outlines how that payment will be made. Regarding the equipment, computers, electronics, furnitures, and fixtures in the Wheeling Dispatch Center, the agreement provides pursuant to the IGA that all of that equipment and furniture remain the property of the Village of Wheeling. And finally, we have some particulars in the agreement, details about how we will be providing Des Plaines with the archive dispatch data that Des Plaines will need to transfer over to Cook County. This really is one of the final shoes to drop. in order to complete the transfer of both communities to their various systems in an orderly way so that there is absolutely no interruption in services to the public for health and safety. So that's it. I can answer any questions.
Questions?
I assume we're on time from a process standpoint of migrating and displays will, no interruptions. I know it's not related to this, it's a shutdown, but they should be good to go?
The answer is yes. Things are moving along very well. The parties have worked very well together to get this done, and the IT departments have been excellent, which is really the key to all of this in both communities.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rufato. If there are no other questions or comments on the transition, I would need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Trustee Rufato, second.
Second?
Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito? Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel? Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes.
Aye.
13I, discussion concept review for the Northwest Mosquito Abatement District, 147 West Hintz Road.
Mr. Clicker.
Well, I'll start with this.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Crowdy.
The current request is for a non-binding approval of the proposed major site plan and concept plan. The feedback by the board will be used by the development team, of which Mr. Clicker is a member, as a guide in the preparation of the formal concept plan. The outcome of this evening does not constitute a formal approval or denial. The decision by the board tonight is non-binding and will not prevent the applicant from moving forward with a formal application if they choose. And now, Ross Clicker.
Yes, the Northwest Mosquito Abatement District is proposing to demolish its main building facility to be replaced with a new single-story, 15,833 square foot administrative and maintenance building. The proposed design is currently up on the screen. As you can see, it's very similar in nature to many of the industrial buildings that we have in the area, where the current facility looks more like a colonial house. We're seeking the board's feedback regarding the proposed concept plan. Should there be a general support for the concept review, the next phase of the process would be for the submittal, the formal petition and major site plan and building appearance approval. Along with the following, we would ask the petitioner to explore a little bit more. One, that the west elevation should include recesses, projections, bays, false windows, pilasters, columns, or similar features to break up the large segments of uninterrupted walls as recommended by the Wheeling Design Guidelines for industrial buildings. And two, the building elevations will need to include additional details regarding any roof-mounted mechanical equipment to determine further screening requirements. With that, the architect is here and a representative of the Mosquito Abatement District to explain their project and answer any questions.
Thank you for having us. My name is Jamie Zara. I'm with 845 Design Group, and then this is the director of the Northwest, the Northwest Mosquito Abatement District. If you have any questions for him, I'd be discussing the building, and if there's any operations questions, he can answer them. So this facade is the northeast elevation that faces Hintz Road. The materials that we're proposing are a high-pressure laminate, which is the entity that we're looking at right now is Trespa. It's a rain screen system that helps with moisture between the walls. If anything gets out there, it can wick behind it. So the green is the olive color, and then the reason we selected that is just because of branding with the Northwest Mosquito Abatement District. That's the color that they often use, and they also like to be looked at as a green entity, trying to protect the public and using materials that are environmentally friendly. The siding at the entrance just tries to help let everyone know that's where the entrance is, and there's a canopy, and they all got passed down there. So the color for that siding is a contrast to the green, just to highlight the entrance, and then the canopy also assists with some sun in that area and is a contrast to the other materials. And I can click this, right? Yes. Okay, so then this corner is the northwest elevation facing Hintz. So this is what I was talking about. There's a little contrast here. There's a little dip in the wall just to add, and there is also on this side too, just to change the materials so that they don't die completely into each other. Right now, the signage, we're still working on that, but we're proposing the 147 West on the canopy, and then potentially this or the logo at the corner of the building there. So the materials I passed around, which don't show up as well on the PowerPoint, but this is a Trespa panel. It's an olive color, and that's, as I said, we selected this just because of the green and the branding. And then a contrast to this is that siding material is also a rain screen canopy, so the same wicking material. And then this canopy is a slightly different color, but just as a contrast. The glazing would be this darker finish, and then the glass would actually be slightly tinted. So just some examples of what the Trespa looks like. Obviously, these are not the same colors, but these are those Trespa panels that we would be using, and there's the line delineations that help act as a rain screen. This is a sample of the siding in another application, not the same color, but just you could see the application here of what it would look like. In the 2D elevations, similar, just to give you an idea of what everything looks like from the elevations. And as the director mentioned, we can adjust this on the west side to add more bump outs, but the rear portion of the building is going to be precast, and that's all the garage bays. And then this is the portion off of Hintz that's recessed slightly, and the canopy turns the corner there. And then this portion here is also facing the train tracks, and is not as visible from Hintz Road. This elevation and the east elevation here are a little bit more prominent. This is also hidden by the office area back here. So site plan, just to give you an idea, this is the existing building here. It's essentially a setback in the same location. I think it's actually a couple feet further south than this existing building, and this is the proposed building here. Is slightly larger just to meet the needs of the district. And then this drive has changed slightly. The parking here is similar. And then these two ancillary buildings will remain. Both of them have power, but they are not conditioned, and they're utilized by the district. So this portion here is the office area that would be off of Hintz. And then this rear area is where all the bays are going to be, to house vehicles, wash bays, storage. This is the landscape plan. So landscaping here, there's some trees here to slightly block the building from Hintz, and then this is stormwater requirement here, and then there's another tree on the rear. And then again, this is the drive that we'll be going through, and the plants off of Hintz are some junipers, hydrangeas, lilacs, and some of the plants here in front of the building are dogwoods, arborvitae shrubs, grass, spirea, and meeting the village requirements. So if you have any questions, I would like to take them.
Trustee Papantos?
Thank you, and I guess this is for the director. I have a really good memory. You've been before us before. What happened? So what happened?
Our bids came in way too high.
You need to be closer to the mic for people.
The bidding came in way too high. The price was way over our budget, so we redesigned the building, changed some plumbing basically, and some heating and cooling to lower the price, hopefully.
And this is a bigger building?
It's slightly larger than the first one we presented, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trustee Krueger?
Thank you. This might be more for Director Clicker. I know we've got some code that requires real masonry, brick. Is that not in the I-3?
We'll have to compare the materials against the guidelines and make sure that they're in compliance with it. If they're not, we will work with the applicant on it.
Okay. I just didn't see it in the rendering, so I wasn't sure if that was code or not.
The precast is a masonry product, so I'm sure it's being evaluated if it's not already approved.
Thank you.
Trustee Raffaello?
Is Trespa a brand?
Yes, it's a brand, but it's a high-pressure laminate. So we don't have to use that product, but just as a point of reference for the colors right now, that's what we're using.
Comparing it to what other brand might we be familiar with?
I mean, it's a rain screen system, so sort of what we did on the 2 satellite fire stations, it would function the same. It's not the same product because that is a cement-based product, but it's a panel system. The lifespan is 50-plus years, but it'll act the same. So with modern building regulations, now a lot of the products have the ability to wick the water out of them. So that's essentially what it's doing. So if anything gets back there, moisture or, high temperatures, it'll end up out of the building instead of penetrating the building. So it's similar system to what we used for both fire stations, but just a different product, if that helps. I don't know, I'd have to look and give you an alternate.
Okay, I was just curious because I'd never heard that. So I was just getting some more information. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Rufato. If there are no other questions, I would be looking for, wait, we need,
Director Clicker.
yes. Director Clicker, what do we got?
Yes, as I read before, there's a few.
Is your mic on, Ross? I don't think it is.
It is now. As I mentioned
Aaron will
before,
yell at us.
there's two areas that we would like to examine a little bit more with the petitioner, those pertaining to the west elevation. And with that, the project does meet all zoning requirements. And we'd be looking for guidance as to how this moves forward, or or if there's any guidance for as this moves forward through the Plan Commission and ultimately Village Board approval process.
Thank you, Mr. Clicker. Now, Mr. Crowdy.
Well, as a reminder, the board is being asked to provide non-binding feedback to the developer. The developer may choose to move forward regardless of the board's feedback.
So now I get to ask a very deliberate question because it's written out here.
Right here, I can see it.
Is the board in favor of the major site plan for the Northwest Mosquito Abatement District? And Clerk Brady, you want to go through and ask?
Sure. Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
all. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
No problem.
your samples back?
Official communications, Clerk Brady, anything about the election?
Yes, I got quite a bit.
Okay.
Early voting is open and runs through November 4th. For hours and locations, contact www.cookcountyclerkil.gov. If you do not have access to a computer, call 847-499-9231. If you are still in need to register or have an address change, you can do so at any early voting site. You must present 2 forms of ID, one of which shows the voter's current address. Number 3 is mail ballot applications for November 5th, 2024 presidential election must be submitted to Cook County by October 31st. And then Halloween we have. Trick-or-treating hours are from 3 to 7 p.m. on October 31st. That's it.
Thank you, Clerk Brady. And again, Trustee Vogel, just echoing the District 21's nice job. You guys do good work, and you do it every year without any sort of hurrahs, so hurrah. You're welcome. We do have a little more business to attend to. We have approval of the bills for October 3rd through October 16th, 2024. Motion?
So moved.
Did I just get louder?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time, we can barely hear you, so.
Oh, hi, Luca, thank you. That was a motion from Trustee Vogel, second from Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, now we do have an executive session this evening for the purposes of pending, probable, and/or imminent litigation. So that being the case, I need a motion to adjourn the regular meeting and recess into executive session
So move. Second.
for the purpose, I said that.
Did you say for pending probable or imminent litigation?
Yeah, you were talking to Mike.
He had an agenda.
He was, that's a true story.
Okay.
He had an agenda.
I did say the purposes, for the, and I'll say it again, purposes of pending, probable, and/or imminent litigation. And we did get a motion. Who was that from?
Second.
Krueger, and a second? Papantos?
Other way. Yeah. that's
Motion,
fine. Mary,
Papantos,
Mary.
second, Krueger. You figure it out, Clerk Brady. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
We're going smooth till the
Trustee
attorney got
Rufato?
involved.
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Good night, everybody.